Hi guys, welcome to Moneycontrol. I'm Karunya Rao and with me is Manisha Gupta, as always joining us to give us an update on commodities. And today we'll talk about what's happening in edible oils. Concerning right now how it looks?
It does, and as we were talking earlier, whether you're eating that samosa or that puri or even a basic, vegetable, we do use edible oil every day into our households there. And yes, the prices have continued to run up so much. Last year, if you look at the prices, or pre-COVID, if you look at the prices, they were half of where they were. So we have seen 100% jump in almost all edible oil prices.
How come nobody is talking about it, especially at a time when the Russia-Ukraine crisis, is playing out, and Ukraine being the largest producer of sunflower oil?
Oh yes, so 46% of global sunflower oil comes in from Ukraine, 23% of it comes in from Russia. So between both of these countries, when you look at sunflower oil, the concerns are really huge. And you know, Karunya, in next 2 weeks, the sowing begins in both of these countries. And if it doesn't begin then the markets are looking at more serious concerns, and you could be looking at even further higher prices.
So it could actually act as an incentive for those trying to shed weight, right?
All right, yeah, people are buying air fryers, have you heard?
Exactly, but what about India? We definitely are an importer of sunflower and several other edible oils. So in terms of pricing, what kind of a jump are we looking at?
So what when you talk about imports, we import palm oil as the major category. 60% of our imports are palm oil, and then you have other oils. And when you look at sunflower oil, around 1.5 to 2 lakh tons per month of sunflower oil is what we import. Okay. Now when you look at edible oil, it's not a very elastic demand. People do use what they use when it comes to food. So 1 lakh tons of a demand is something that you will see as steady. People might shift to other edible oils if whatever is cheaper. We do understand that in Kerala, coconut oil is cheaper, much cheaper than other oils. Same is the case with the Andhra. They have their own oil. Sunflower oil is not a big concern there. And people then use locally produced oils as well. So it is an inelastic demand, but the kind of concerns that we are seeing in the international markets, there is a lower supply there, and there is this huge biofuel mandate as well, where we see a lot of crops going into, especially when it comes to palm. That is where the concerns are. And the important thing is that the next meeting that the G20 will be having, they will talk about this mandate on biodiesels, and whether or not palm can be delayed, whether or not corn can be delayed as well. So that's going to be an important one to watch.
And palm oil is an important input for several industries, especially the FMCG sector, right? Yes, so costs could go up across the board for different other products that use palm oil as a raw material.
Absolutely, we've seen palm oil prices at all-time highs, being hit many times this year, and the reason for that has been exactly that. One, you're looking at these concerns. Palm oil demand has gone through the roof. The biodiesel mandate is yet another thing, and then palm oil used to be the cheapest of oil, but when you look at various categories of edible oil right now, they're all perhaps at the same level.
So what do we do now? What should we switch to something else then?
I don't know.
What's the option?
Ghee, you said you eat a lot of ghee.
Ghee is no cheaper. But where are the prices headed? Are we expecting them to soar further?
So if you look at the last 1 year, we've seen prices gain up by 100%. If there is no ceasefire in the next 2 weeks, if we do not see the sowing go on as planned, then you are perhaps looking at another 10% of a jump up coming in for the edible oil prices easily. If all goes well, are you looking at a lot of correction? No, you're not. You're perhaps looking at 10% of correction from these current levels. So we are not looking at too much of a downside. We'll have to learn to live with these higher elevated prices for the years to come. But yes, on the upside, if there are more concerns, the war escalates, if there are more tariffs that the countries are putting in, then we are looking at a 10% of a jump up very easily from here.
So I think the best way is to cut back on your oil consumption, in your dietary needs perhaps. Looking at the upside here, silver lining.
Yes, Karunya, these are difficult times, as you were talking earlier as well. So whichever commodity sector that you look at, the prices have been rising, and so will be the case with edible oil as well. Another important thing is that other major producers, whether it's Indonesia, Malaysia, Argentina, etc., these countries, because of the higher prices and their domestic inflation, also are trying to put tariffs, etc. So if that happens, then India, being a major consumer, 65% of our edible oil is imported. We are in a difficult spot here. And what we do understand is that if these countries actually do something like this, India might retaliate in some ways or the other. That is something that you would also want to keep an eye on, and that would open up in the next week too.
Okay, perhaps right now the way things are, the only way that seems ideal is to cut back on your dietary needs and your oil consumption for now. But on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining in. And edible oil prices going through the roof, something you might want to keep on your watch list. Thank you so much for tuning in.